Back, everybody, to the Joey Orsborn Show. I'm your host, Joey Orsborn, here with the lowdown on some of the week's biggest news in sports. Starting off today's episode, we're going to talk about some MLB free agency. Starting up pretty soon here with the World Series now finally over with the Houston Astros beating the Phillies in 6 games, which, personally, as a Pittsburgh fan, I'm kind of happy about because I don't like Philly. Me no gusta Philly. If you speak Spanish, you know that means I do not like Philly. Yeah, so I don't really like them. So, but yeah. Now, it's to see the Astros finally break their little course here of choking the World Series. They've choked the last 2 years. They've been in it. Except for this one here, choking to Atlanta and then choking against Washington. They finally get the second one here, so if you're a fan, very good for you. And I guess for some reason the rest of baseball, because they don't like them because they're cheaters, not very happy. But it was Philly. Like, it's Philly or it's them. I'm gonna take them in that scenario because it's Philly, guys. Come on. Nobody likes Philly. They are just the worst. They ruin everything. I'm just not. No, it's like people live in Philadelphia. I just really do not like the sports teams at all. I'm sorry. Yeah, I've been there. Not. It's a nice place, but those sports teams, I cannot stand them sometimes. Yeah, no, but in MLB free agency here, we're going to talk a little about the Yankees here. This is going to be a massive offseason for them here as big news a couple days ago here. Anthony Rizzo, the first baseman of their team here, decided to elect for free agency. So he's now a free agent. So that means he is probably not coming back to New York to the Yankees here. He's probably going someplace else, and it isn't the biggest loss to the Yankees. He was a good player, but they can find more where he came from. You know what I mean? First baseman wise, it's not the biggest loss. I think Rizzo is going to go to probably another contender, I bet. I don't think he's going back to Chicago. As much as Cubs fans will probably love that, I don't think they're going to sign him, and I don't think he's going to go back there. But, we'll see what happens with Rizzo. Then also now the Yankees as well. And this is the big one here. Possibly losing Aaron Judge in free agency. If you're a Yankees fan, you're probably right now crying and sobbing. And honestly, my honest opinion here, are the Yankees going to lose Judge? I know they tried to sign him in the regular season. I think like $216,000 contract deal. He said no, obviously, and decided to bet on himself. Well, he bet on himself pretty good there. I think 62 home runs here, breaking the AL record. Not breaking the actual home run one, but everyone claims Judge has it because Barnes did stale awards. But then again, honestly, Barnes hit 72, and Judge hit 62. So I go Barnes, and I'm like, I say Barnes has it, but people can believe what they want. You know what I mean? So yeah, but insane regular season. He easily is the MVP for sure. Well, if Jordan Alvarez would have gotten hot, I would have thought Jordan Alvarez, but how do you compete with 62 home runs in a regular season? You really just can't compete with that. That's impressive. And Aaron Judge, what he did this year was impressive. And it looks like right now here, they sent him a qualifying offer the Yankees did, but it's going to look like here, he may be out of New York. At least the Yankees. Who knows? Watch the Mets grab him or something here. So, here's what I think. I think the Yankees, now you got to figure this out. Are you going to pay him the insane amount of money for a guy in his 30s? Can you even afford, you can probably afford it. It's the Yankees, you can probably afford it, but are you really willing to, though? How many good years is he going to have left? 4 or 5? He's going to hit a drop-off soon, and when he does, that contract's going to be a nightmare. I think anyone who signs him, whatever contract they give him, toward the end, it'll be a little nightmare. And I think Yankees-wise, it helps you now, but are you really going to win now? This team, has consistently not shown up in the postseason. They've consistently had troubles. I just don't think the way I see them, this year, when they beat Cleveland, I was like, I could see them being Cleveland, but I think Cleveland overall is probably a better team. It's just the Yankees have more of the money and the firepower and the whole stadium there, too, being more of a hitter-friendly park. You just look at that here, really, for the most part, you just see that, it's yeah, alright, they're a good team, but they're not Houston. I'm sorry, but they are not Houston. And there are multiple teams on the AL that are getting strong, young-wise. The Seattle Mariners, they are a team to watch. I think they're going to be something very impressive for the next couple years here. Houston, they're not going anywhere. They just won one. Most of their players, they have signed long-term contracts. And they also got players out there in free agency they can go out and grab. They don't spend like the Yankees or Mets, but they spend enough they can go out there and grab someone if they really need to. And if you give them that opportunity, they will. But you hear some really bestial Blue Jays. That's another team I really am looking at here now. Like, I think they need one more year. Maybe they need just a little more. But if they play their cards right, they were a very good baseball team. They were a tough one to beat. Baltimore Orioles, they have a lot of great prospects coming up here. It's going to be interesting to see what they turn into. There's a lot of great prospects there. It's going to be interesting to see what they turn into. And that's it. And two of these, the Blue Jays and Orioles, they're in the AL East, same division as the Yankees. Tampa Bay, they have some great prospects there. Most of them are up now by this point, but still. They still have a competitive team. They don't spend well, but they do field a competitive team. But, the Yankees, I bet, could probably beat them here, but, wait and see. But it's like, you look at this, the AL, like, this is so many teams coming out of there. I know also Cleveland, too. A lot of prospects. They're not, like, as much high profile as some of the other teams, but they get the job done. And this team was, like, had 4 gold gloves this year, like, 4 gold glove winners, and all pretty young, like, early 20s. Like, you just look at this, you're like, there's many more teams. We can talk about Detroit and what they have prospect-wise. We can talk about Minnesota and some. They don't have many, but they have some that are very interesting. Like, we can talk about, like, numerous teams in the AL that have a lot of prospects and teams that can turn into something really good. And let's talk about the AL here, the NL here, too, is the Pirates. They have a spectacular farm system. They are going to be a good team in the future. They were not this year. They haven't been the last couple of years, but if you see what Neil Huntington did to this team, you're not surprised why. Like, what Ben Cherington has done is literally what any good GM would do. Even a bad GM would do this because they knew they weren't winning with that core. And it's better to admit, yeah, it's over than try to, and just rebuild rather than just try to, like, relive some days, that they're not going to get back to. It's like, but you look like Pirates, they're a really good team. They're going to be a really good team once those prospects come up. Cincinnati's got some missing ones. The Reds, Cubs, they're building them up right now. We'll see what they turn out to be, but they're building. The Mets, who already have a ton of great players, they have some missing prospects too. Dodgers, they have a couple, but they always do. But you just look, all these teams are great prospects. Like, I know the Yankees got Dominguez and Volpe, but they need spots for them, and I just don't know what happens here really. But there's just gonna be so many good teams in the AL. I think if you're the Yankees, you have to get Judge back. Like, if you don't get Judge back, I'm not gonna say you're out, but the way you look at the MLB, there were some interesting up and coming teams here. With just if you look at them prospect wise, just look at what they did last year. There are teams that can compete, and they can give the Yankees a run for their money. I think right now, my opinion here, Brian Cashman is not that good of a GM. He was a great GM in the 90s, early 2000s. Had some spectacular teams to the Yankees, but he's lost his mojo. He just, I know, earlier in the decade, he said he was going to rebuild the team the way all the other ones did, but he didn't really. And the way he built them is a disaster. They're just a power-hitting team. Again, now, power is the big thing here. There's so many great players with power and stuff, but you still got to hit the ball with contact. You still have to get on base. These guys strike out insanely much, and Judge, even though he's the MVP, he's included that. He strikes out a lot. He had a slow slump against Cleveland in the postseason here. But yeah, it's just, Yankees-wise, you need Judge back. But is he going to come back? Honestly, he has rejected multiple offers. And the way I see it on their side, I think Judge is leaving. I think he's going someplace else that will pay him. And I guarantee you, there's going to be places that are going to pay him. It's not just the Yankees that are going to pay him. There's other teams that are going to pay him. Now, can I tell you what teams they are? I'm not sure exactly. We have to see and find out who all goes after him. But I can tell you one team that's not. Probably the Pirates. I would just check them off your list for now. He's not going to Pittsburgh, so just check that off your list. Same with Cleveland, because Cleveland will not spend. Just check off all the small market teams. But you think big and medium market teams? If you think they're gonna go after them, you are correct. I think any team that can even closely afford him is going to go after him. And I honestly think this is going to be a very interesting thing to watch. We just have to see how this plays out. But very interesting. All big news here is Bogarts is out of Boston here, so we'll see. I think that basically means Boston's, they're done now, but they have some innocent prospects. I think they're going to be building up more prospects, but Xander Bogarts out of Boston. I'm not going to say much here, but I think Boston's window has officially closed on them. But hey, they got a championship out of it, so if you get a championship out of it, that's pretty good. So, they succeed in what they need to do. I think that era of Red Sox baseball is over here now. We're going to probably get into a new one here, so they may be not the best. Like this year, not going to be that good. They're going to stop being rebuilding here, so let me see what all they do. There may be some trades in the offseason here. We'll have to wait and see on that. Carlos Correa opted out of Minnesota. Not a surprise. Minnesota was a massive disappointment this year. And Correa, he went someplace to win. I'm not sure why he went to the Twins, though. But I think he's going someplace else. I don't know if this is going to happen now with Pena, but I could see him heading back to Houston if Houston would pay. But you also have Pena there, so I don't know if you're going to use him somewhere else. I don't know if they bring him back. They may not, but I think Correa is off somewhere this year. Well, of course, he's out of Minnesota. So let's see where he goes. Trey Turner, right now, I don't think he's going to get back to the Dodgers. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. I think the Dodgers will probably pay for him, and I think the Dodgers have a good shot at getting him. So I would not be worried about that. I think he'll probably remain in LA. I would be surprised if he moves. And then there's also some, plays out right now. Those are just like the big ones I wanted to talk about today. I just feel like, but mainly it's the whole Aaron Judge thing. Like, that is the most interesting thing to watch this offseason is going to be, where does Aaron Judge go? Is he going to stay in New York? I personally don't think he is. I think he's going someplace else. But that's the big thing. We want to see, where is he going to be going? Like, what is happening with that? So we'll have to wait and see. Moving on to some NBA here. I'm going to talk about the Western Conference for a little bit. The Utah Jazz, a team that everyone thought would be not very good this year, is right now number one in the Western Conference and is 7-3, I think, if I'm correct. Like, very good record so far for all their games here. So just just looking at them here, like, you have to wonder, like, what makes them so good right now? Like, why are they being like actually 9-3? My mistake here. Like, what is really the big thing that has made them good? I'll ask, like, they should be awful this year, but they're doing good. Like, why is that? And honestly, I'm going to answer that question for you right now, here. It's the trade. It is literally the Donovan Mitchell trade. I think that was what happened. I think that helped fix them. Now, what they lost here? They lost Donovan Mitchell here, which, honestly, I'm not sure it's bad or worse right now, because they lost him, but they're doing very good without him now. So, I don't know, but thing is, I think, honestly, the Cavs still won that trade. They're really good now. They're one of the best out there. I think that trade was probably one of the best things Cleveland's ever done in their franchise history. And this team they have right now may become, if they keep going on the piss, except for blowing us the Clippers, being the best team the Cleveland Cavaliers have ever had in franchise history. And yes, I am including all the LeBron teams. I think this team right here, they continue to play their well. They're something special. But the Jazz here, they were interesting. Like, I thought after the trade, they have some missing pieces from this trade. We'll have to see what happens. And the first-round picks, I don't think they're going to be much because the Cavs are going to be very good. So they're not going to be much. Because they'll probably be very late picks, I think, as the Cavs are going to be in the playoffs and probably winning championships in this time period, I bet. This is their time. They're competing, and they're competing hard. Like, I think they're competing harder than anyone in the East right now. Like, they are the best team in the East. I don't think you can say the Bucks are better. Cleveland just has more firepower. They just have more firepower. But, Utah-wise, you guys are missing stuff. You got Colin Sexton. He's a man, ever since drafted by the Cavs, I've been very high on. In Cleveland, he was very good. When he was healthy, he got hurt a decent amount, and then they couldn't pay him in the offseason. That's what kind of made the Donovan Mitchell trade happen, is they couldn't pay Sexton, and he wouldn't sign, so he was an RFA. He did sign in Utah, so that basically is kind of his team there. But, like, what they got here, It's like what they're doing right now. Like they have Roy Markman. He's been doing pretty good since again now. He's been a player for high ceiling. Coming from the Bulls, wasn't able to do much. Cavs, he was a good bench player, but nothing special. Jordan Clarkson, they've always had him. He's a good, consistent player. Ochi Abachi, the Cavs' first-round pick from this year who was then later traded in the Donovan Mitchell trade. He is a guy I'm very high on. I'm interested to see what all happens with him. But it's going to be very interesting to see how they really play with him. I think out of the players there, I think he's a very promising one. I know sometimes you can get something like 13, 14 is very promising. I think he's one of those guys. I think he can turn into something very good. I'm not like a superstar player or anything, but I think like a good player who can go out there, get you some good points, and do well for you. So I was kind of bummed when the Cavs decided to trade him. I honestly, if I was the GM, I would have traded Okoro instead. But because I don't think Okoro is very good. I don't think he's turning into anything good anymore. Like he had some potential and stuff, but he's just not an NBA player. Of course, he's just not that good. Like honestly, there's a reason why Casey LeVert is starting over him. So I would have traded Okoro, but they said Ochi Abaji. He's really promising. Rudy Gay's having a good year this year. But just when I look at this team, and then the first-round picks they have, like when I look at this team has a lot of promise, and they're coming out fast and pretty early. Now, do I think they're going to keep the number one seed here? I don't think the Utah Jazz will. They don't have the superstar power that they once had. If they had started Rudy Gobert, I would consider it, but without him, I don't think so. But they did at least get a decently good replacement from Donovan Mitchell of Colin Sexton. I think Colin Sexton, he's the guy there now. He is going to be their guy. We'll have stuff to see what they draft, get draft rights, but I honestly think Colin Sexton, he probably is their guy. Now, he's probably going to be what Donovan Mitchell was last year for them. He's going to be their big piece. And he's a very talented scorer. He's shown it so far this year. He's going to keep showing it, I think. And he is probably the piece they will build around here, I think. And in my opinion, that's a good piece to build around. You lose Donovan Mitchell, but you get a player who also is a very good scorer and has a lot of potential. So I think it's a win-win for both of them. So now, moving on here, we got we're going to talk about some Golden State here. Struggling massively. So kind of a championship hangover. Now, what's the problem exactly? Well, honestly, it's confusing here. There's just a lot of factors. I know. It seems like there's been some infighting with the team with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole or O'Neal. It just seems like there's been some conflict. Players have not been playing up to their standards. I don't think Klay Thompson has been playing up to where he should be normally. The only thing I could say is Steph Curry has still played like he normally does. I think he's third in the league in points per game right now. So he's not really the problem, I don't think. He's been playing. It just seems like right now they're having some struggles, cohesion-wise and stuff. Do I think things are going to change here? I think they will. I think they'll probably get back on track here. I think this is kind of like a cold stretch. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be back. I'm not really worried about them. I don't think they're missing the playoffs. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I'd be surprised if they don't. But they do need to play better right now. They do just need to play better. I think they're struggling a lot, and I think they need to improve on that. But I think they're fine. Lakers, so we're going to continue to talk about this. There are now some positives. Russell Westbrook is starting to play better. He is getting better now. So how he's playing better, how exactly he's playing better, but he's now playing better. So that's the good news. Bad news is LeBron hasn't been the best this year, and Anthony Davis has been okay at best. He's had some decent games, but this team, honestly, they're not good. They are an awful team, and since they gave so many first-round picks to the Pelicans now, you can't get a young player to come help you out. And that's what they desperately need is a young player. But they don't have the draft picks to get them. If they had their draft picks, I wouldn't worry. I'd be like, yeah, this be bad this year. They get a young guy and it'll be fine. But they don't. They gave them all up for Anthony Davis. The Pelicans have that pick. And honestly, Pelicans, I'm just going to go here for a little bit. If you're a Pelicans fan, you're really enjoying this like the rest of the NBA, because you realize you have a ton of their first-round picks. Because they gave so much up for Anthony Davis. They may have got the whole 2020 Bubbles championship, but half the people don't even really count. I don't count really any of the 2021s, really, because it's just not, other than the Super Bowl, they're not really, done like the right way. I don't think. But if you're the Pelicans, they're so bad, honestly, that I legitimately think you can build a dynasty right now. Like, I think there's gonna be a dynasty coming. Like, I just think this is very interesting. This team is very good. And it's be interesting to see how well they play. But yeah. Honestly, Lakers, they're bad this year. They're not gonna be good, and I'm not really surprised here. So now moving into some NHL here, we have, of course, I'm going to talk a little bit about here a very controversial subject here with the whole signing of, let's see. Okay, let me find his name here for a sec. I know it's Miller last time. I got to make sure I got his first name right. Let's see, here it is. Maybe that's not his. Where is it? I'm sorry, I'm trying to get his first name here, but someone cooperate with me. So guy's last name is Miller. I think a lot of people thought about this, the whole like bullying people. Oh, Mitchell Miller. That's his name, Mitchell Miller. That's his first name. Bullying a person with disabilities, being racist to him as well because he is African American, being very racist. A lot of disturbing stuff. Now this signing here, I'm just gonna say it. Boston should have not done this. This was in very poor taste. Clearly Boston knew about this because he got drafted by the Arizona Coyotes, and then the NHL said he literally couldn't play. Yet Boston decided to sign him. Honestly, I'm not sure what Boston was thinking there. They didn't consult the league, and the league's not gonna let him play, which is obvious. Like, he did some extremely bad stuff, and he hasn't really apologized for it. So he shouldn't play. What he did was wrong, and honestly, Boston, I got some questions here. Like, why would you do this? Like, he's not even the best. He's not that good of a prospect. He has maybe some potential, but to be like maybe a low defenseman, like a third defensive pairing, but he's not anything that I would risk signing him over this. Like, the stuff he did is, this guy is a volcano waiting to happen here, honestly. And it's blown up in Boston's face. Honestly, that's probably a good thing, because this is a guy who probably should not be in the league. So I'm going to leave it at that. This is a crazy signing, and it shouldn't have happened. Moving on here to the Blue Jackets here. A lot of struggles early on. Looks like Johnny Hockey has not helped them at all. Continuous struggles getting blown out a lot. Am I surprised? I am a little bit. I thought they would be just in the middle of the road this year, with the young guys starting on, like, getting in there, getting some playing time, learning what the NSL game's like, and then I thought Johnny Gaudreau would help him out a lot. Not a lot, but like, he'd help him a little bit, and him and Patrick Laine, but really has not. They're awful. They really are not very good. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe just need some cohesion, like some time to get some cohesion and then work together, but we'll have to wait and see on what exactly happens there, but honestly, Blue Jackets has not been that good. They've been a big disappointment, especially Johnny Hockey. So I know Johnny Gaudreau, he has been a very big disappointment so far. And then, speaking of disappointment, let's talk about my Penguins for a second here. Yeah. They've lost 7 straight after starting the season insanely hot. Some of it just been, they just have not played complete games. Some of it is they've had bad luck. Seattle on Saturday was bad. They played a good game, but just didn't have the best luck. Honestly, right now, as I see the Penguins, they need some changes. I think they have this great young defenseman down in Wilkes-Barre called Ty Smith. I honestly think they should bring him up to see what he can do. I think he has a lot of potential. His rookie season was on the all-rookie team. He had a sophomore slump, but it was pretty bad last year. But I think this is a guy who can be very good and be a very good player for a long time. And I think POJ, he has done great so far. I think he's the best defenseman on the team right now. Chris Letang has been, a little iffy so far. But yeah, I think they need to bring him up. I think they need to bring up some of the other young guys. They brought up Hollandor. I think they got to bring up Alex Nylander. Get Poland back, Poland in the lineup. I know he's up by now, but let him play here. You know what I mean? I think it's to get rid of some of the older guys like Kapanen. I think he needs to go in a trade. I think Dumoulin probably, as good as he has been the last couple years, he is just not it this year. I don't know if it's just normal struggles or it's just age is caught up to him, but he's not it. I think you have to look at a trade option for him and see what's available. But Penguins-wise, I don't think they need to make a trade right now, but I think they need to call up some of the young guys and let them help. The way I see this team is, I see them kind of like 2016 when they won the first time. Is right now, they'll, like bottom six and some of the defense players aren't very good, but they have some great players in Wilkes-Barre they can call up to help. And I think if you're the Penguins, you have to do that. There's just guys on the rosters just are not getting it done. I know Sperry Kapanen, he's one of the big ones. He has not got it done. He's been a big disappointment ever since getting to Pittsburgh, and I think, honestly, this Sperry Kapanen experiment needs to end here. I think they need to let some of the more young guys play. Like, let Sam Poling play. Let Hollander play. Let Alex Nylander play. These are guys with very good very good ceilings, and they can be very good players. I think you need to let these guys play. And I think if you do, it's going to benefit the team very well. So I think that's definitely a few of them. I think that's a good thing. I think you should definitely look forward to that. But yeah, Penguins, if they can call up the guys, I'm very excited about this team. Right now, I think they'll win tonight against Washington. I think they'll get back on track here. They're not going to lose 8 straight, probably. Like, Sullivan's probably giving them a good yelling, and Crosby, he's not going to let that slide. So I think they'll probably win tonight, but we'll have to see. But yeah, I think they got to get the young guys here. And also, speaking of the Penguins here, I was recently on the podcast Users on the Point with my good friend and former co-worker. Actually, I may work from again this summer. He'll have to wait and see. But Tyler Allen, he's got a spectacular podcast. So if you guys like the Penguins, check it out. If you're a big Pens fan, it's very good. He does a great job with it. And just a great person in general. Does a great job. And if you really like the Penguins or just hockey in general, check him out. He does a very great job. So now moving on to the NFL here. Let's talk about Indianapolis. Ryan Saturday. He is your new head coach. Frank Reich is out, which is somewhat surprising, but also he was on the hot seat. Like, I think we expect that to happen, but they decided the interim head coach should be Saturday. This head coach, this guy here, Saturday, has had no experience in college football or NFL football. The only experience he has coaching is in high school. And in high school, he was 2-6. I am not making this up. This is legitimately has happened. Colts fans, it was so much fun when last of Van Luck, right? Yeah. And that 1 year of Phil Rivers, that was fun. And JT last year was fun. That fun is over. You guys are going to be back in the basement. And I think it's going to be for a good long time. I think you guys are going to be selling off here. I don't think you guys are going to be able to compete now. Your quarterback situation is a disaster. Matt Ryan, as much as I love him, he's old now. He just cannot play the game like he used to. And it shows. He was literally benched for Sam Ellinger. Honestly, JT has been a mass disappointment. He's been injured a lot and just hasn't been that good. Like, I was expecting him to be the best running back in the league. He has not been to this point. So definitely a disappointment. Just look at it here. You gotta expect him to be better. And my Siri is going off here. What? Why is Siri going off? Just give me a sec, y'all.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
There we go. We're good. No, Siri, I don't know.
I'm not sure I understand.
Oh, there you go. Set up Siri. I'm not sure why Siri was doing that. I don't know. Must have accidentally tapped the Siri button. But yeah, basically, it's over for the Colts. I think they're gonna have to sell off here. I don't know if JT gets traded, but I think some of the other ones do. I think Quentin Nelson, I think he's gone. DeForest Buckner is probably gone. Stephon Gilmore, we just got this year, probably will be traded in the offseason. I think a lot of trades in the offseason for them. And I think they're going back to square one. I think that's really going because his team's a disaster. Jim Orsay, he is. I don't want to say he's the palm, but he is the palm of that team. I think honestly, if you're a Colts fan, you was just waiting for him to sell the team, but it's not gonna happen. He honestly got lucky with Peyton Manning and the whole championship run, 2006 he had. He got lucky getting the coaches he did. He got lucky. He just does not know how to run a football organization. And as long as he keeps making these decisions, Colts, you're not going anywhere. You're gonna be in this weird position. I think, honestly, he's the reason Wentz is not there anymore. I legitimately think if they would have kept Wentz, Wentz wasn't amazing MVP level last year, but he did what he needed to do for the most part. Here's the thing. I think if they would have kept Wentz and just said, we believe in you, they would have actually had confidence, they would not be in this position right now. They would probably be winning the AFC South, which is one of the weakest divisions in football. It's really just the Titans. That's the only good team in there. And Titans, they're not bad, but they're not that good. I think they would be in a better position right now, but they're not. It's because they made moves that just were not very good. I think they would have kept Wentz. They would have actually put faith in Frank Reich, and they would have been fine. But Jim Irsay did not do that, and yet he's keeping Chris Ballard as GM, which I think is questionable. I don't think he's done that good of a job. I think Indianapolis needs a new, fresh coat of change. I think that Jim Irsay just needs to lay off a little bit. Just let the football people do their thing. That's what they did in Buffalo for the Bills. And look how the Bills have been. They've been great. I know Pagula with the Sabres, he has not done that, but he's done it with the Bills, and look what has happened. Great things have happened thanks to that. They're a very good team now, and that's why, because they let the football people do their job. And I think that's what the Colts need to do, honestly. But, yeah, I think it's going to be a long off-season and a long season next year for you guys. Now, talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers here. This week they're playing the Saints, one of the other worst teams in the league, so this may be close. I'm excited to see how they play out. Saints struggle in passing defense, so that's be good for the Steelers and Kenny Pickett. They're one of the worst in the league, so I think that's going to help. Honestly, Kenny needs a game to boost his morale, I think. There's been a lot of infighting on that offense, and I think he just needs a game where he can just just have a good game, Just have a game where he can just rebound back, him and the offense rebound back. Hopefully the bye week then get back on track a little more here. Listen to see what happens to the running game. The New Orleans defense is very good, so they may have a decent shot at being able to do something. They got some bad teams right now, so they can actually hopefully, get a couple games, just get a couple wins. We'll have to wait and see on that. Yeah, but I think Steelers, I think they have a good shot at winning this game. We'll have to wait and see, but I think, honestly, the Steelers can win this game. So, winnable game. I think Pickett can have a good game. I think he's going to have a rebound game, which he definitely needs, because his confidence has definitely been hit pretty bad thanks to this, let's just say, interesting play calling by Matt Canada. Do I think Kenny Pickett's at fault? Not 100%. He's making rookie mistakes, but he's a rookie. He's supposed to make rookie mistakes. That's normal. As long as he learns from the mistakes and he can become better, and he can lead this team, and lead them to good, good seasons and good playoffs in the future, and hopefully Super Bowl runs in the future, I don't mind this deal if he has a little bit of struggles. I don't think anyone minds. I think what I mind is the offensive corner. I just don't think he's doing what Pickett needs. He's not playing those strengths. I think this is a system that doesn't work. I think it needs to change, and that brings us to my next topic here, Frank Reich. Yep, he's back again. Basically here, as I said earlier, fired from the Colts here. If you're wondering where he was before that, he was the OC in Philadelphia when Philly won Super Bowl 52 with Nick Foles. This is a guy who knows how to call offense. I think he's a very good offensive coordinator. Honestly, I think he's a decent coach, if not a good coach. He just has been hampered insanely in Indianapolis. But I honestly think, right now, I've been saying wait till the offseason to find Matt Canada and stuff, because there's no one actually out there who can do it. Well, it just so seems to happen out of the blue. He comes out there, Frank Reich. A guy who, honestly, in the offseason, because I was thinking he was probably going to get fired, I would say, look to see if you can get him as the OC. He'd be one of my top choices. He's out there right now. And I honestly say, if you're the Steelers, go get him. Seriously, go get him. He can help you out massively. They have had insane problems on offense for a long time. Ever since Todd Haley, they have had troubles offensively, scheming-wise and stuff like that. I think getting Frank Reich fixes that glitch. He is a great offensive coordinator. Like, he was able to lead an offense to become very explosive with Nick Foles as the quarterback. Nick Foles, outside of Philadelphia in that 1 year, is pretty bad. Like, he's way worse than anything the Steelers have shown at quarterback this year. That's for sure. But yeah, I think, honestly, having Frank Reich would be a massive help, not only to the Steelers in general, but just to Kenny Pickett. And it'd be a big help to George Pickens. I think, I think that's be a big help because I think he can come in and I think he can help develop Pickett. I don't think Canada can develop Pickett the best way possible. I think Frank Reich can. I think Frank Reich can turn Kenny Pickett into what he can be, which is a very good quarterback if used correctly. Like, is he going to still have rookie mistakes this year, even if Frank Reich's head coach? I mean, the OC, not head coach, OC. Yeah, he probably will. He's a rookie, but I think he can significantly improve with Frank Reich as the offensive coordinator. I think it's a move that benefits everyone. It benefits the Steelers. I think it's going to help them win more games. I think it's going to benefit guys like Najee Harris, who have been struggling right now. I think a guy like him going in there, I think he can help improve the O-line, but just, getting after them. I think he can definitely improve Kenny Pickett massively. Like, if he was able to develop Carson Wentz into an MVP candidate before he got hurt. He was able to develop Nick Foles. He was able to get him to beating Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. There's not many quarterbacks who can say that. Nick Foles is one of them who actually can. Frank Reich is the perfect solution to the Steelers' problems. He is the perfect solution, and if I am the Steelers, I'm doing exactly what I did when Brian Flores got fired. I am outright just hiring him as soon as humanly possible. I wouldn't even wait. I would just hire him. He is a guy who will fix this offense. He is a guy who will develop Pickett to what he can be. He is a guy who can get our offense back on track. And honestly, I said wait to the end of the year and file Canada and just get a new guy then, because there wasn't any options left. Well, the one that I see as one of the best ones, if not the best, just came available. And I say, if you have the opportunity, if you're the Steelers, take it. Because I guarantee you some other team will too, because we all know what he is offensively, and he's a great, offensive coordinator. So, yeah, I think that's a good move. I think the Steelers need to do that. But now getting some NFL predictions here to end our show here today. We got Thursday Night Football, Falcons and Panthers. Oh. That's interesting. I'm gonna go Falcons on that one. They're a little more, united than the Panthers. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm going Falcons on that. That's yeah. I think we have also it looks like here on Sunday we have the 9:30 a.m. It looks like that's the game in Germany. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. They had a lot of people wanted tickets. I think like it was something crazy. Like they had nowhere close to enough for them. I think it's in Munich, so I think it's the Seahawks and Buccaneers. That's gonna be interesting. I think I'm ready to see that. I think the Seahawks now have a team they can in some way play against. I think that's some good competition they're gonna have. I think Buccaneers, after that win against the Rams last week, they have a lot of enthusiasm. I think they're going to go out there, and I think they're going to build off that momentum. And just knowing Tom Brady, he's the type of player who can come out and just beat you up. Like, he's just, a good player. And he struggled this year, but I think he can come out there, and I think he can get the Buccaneers to win. I'm going to go Tampa Bay there. Jacksonville and Kansas City. That's easy, Kansas City. No way Jacksonville wins that. Minnesota Vikings and Bills. That's a tough one. Especially without Josh Allen possibly being out. But I'm going to go Bills there. I don't think Minnesota's very good, but they haven't played the best competition. This Bills team is a very good competition. I think Bills is going to walk out of there with the win. Browns Dolphins. It's the Dolphins. Browns defense, especially secondary-wise, has been atrocious. And having to face Hill and Waddle. And you also got Mike Gesicki, a very good tight end, and then Tua Tagovailoa having a breakout year. That offense is going to be unstoppable. And Bradley Chubb, he's going to get in there, and he's probably going to get some couple sacks on Brissett. I think Dolphins get the victory there. Broncos Titans. Titans get an easy win. Broncos aren't very good this year, and they don't have Nick Chubb anymore, so that defense is taking a big hit. I mean, not Nick Chubb. I mean Bradley Chubb. Yep. Lions, Bears. It's interesting. I think it depends on Justin Fields. If Justin Fields has a great game like last week, I'm going to go Bears. But if he doesn't, I'm going to go Lions. But these are two very competitive teams. They're not very good, but they're competitive. It's going to be a good game, but I'm going to go Chicago Bears here, I think. Texans, Giants. That's easy. New York Giants. They're clearly the better team. Colts, Raiders. Now, that's an interesting one here. I'm going to go with the Raiders. I know, the Raiders have been awful this year, but Saturday is coaching the other team. He's coaching the Colts. They are a disaster. And I think the Raiders, they have some structure left. They have some. So, I think they win that game. Saints, Steelers, I already talked about that, but Steelers going to win that. I think that's going to be close. Cowboys, Packers. That's Cowboys' easy win. Packers are a disaster this year. No wide receivers, and they didn't get it at the trade deadline, so Aaron Rodgers is basically being forced out there to basically just get sacked and throw interceptions because he can throw it to an actual receiver. Cardinals, Rams. I'm going to go LA Rams here. I think they can rebound, but it depends on Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford isn't playing. I would give it to the Cardinals, but if Stafford's playing, I think he can play. I think he'll be able to rebound against a pretty easy team to face. So, yeah, I'm going to go LA Rams in that. Chargers, 49ers. I'm going to go 49ers. They're getting it together now. After Trey Lance getting injured here, you now have Chris McCaffrey. This is a very good team. And I think there's going to be some stiff competition for the Eagles here. As the season progresses, I'm going to say 49ers win that. And then Monday Night Football, Commanders, Eagles. That's Eagles. It's going to be easy. Very much Eagles. Going to dominate, and Eagles will go to 9-0. So that's it for this week. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Make sure to follow our YouTube page here. Well, this is, the video version post, so you're already probably watching this if you're watching the video. Check that out. Follow us on Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, and Spotify. And then also we have an Instagram page. Check us out. Give us a follow and a like. And if you like what I see, let us know. You got any suggestions here? Just DM the Instagram page if you want me to talk about some other stuff. It's like if you have any suggestions, you want, me to talk about something, just DM me. Let me know, and I can see if I can get it going. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.